Alright, so when I bought this machine, this drive motor, this had 30 thousandths of shims in it, picking it up. So in doing that, it was giving a false reading on the rails, making the saw look dished when it was really flat. So what it was doing was ridging the saw. So it would look like a dish here, but then when I would take it to the bench, the saw would have a hump in it. It would be ridged. So when I pulled the shims out of the motor, because the motor was lifting the saw up, and dropped that down, that fixed that problem. So the saw's coming off level now, but the problem I'm having after dropping this down is now this is not working a ridge or a dish at all, because I can sit here and just spin this around and around and around, because now that I've lowered the height on this, I've lowered the height on this bottom roll, and it's essentially opened up the space between the rolls, even though I set my 4 thousandths gap. So I think what I'm going to do is put shims underneath the leveling head and raise the whole thing 30 thousandths. That way I can lower those bottom rolls. It'll allow me to lower those bottom rolls a little bit and essentially get the same scenario that I had when the motor was shimmed up 30 thousandths. And these machines are very, very finicky. So right now I've rammed that bottom roll right up into the saw to try to get a reading. So if I just slightly drop it away, all right, let me get 4 thousandths here and I'll show you. That's about 5, 6. So look at what happens here. I can just sit here and do this. So what I need to do is raise this entire leveling head up to counteract this problem. But my guess, this is why they shimmed this motor up 30 thousandths. That was the wrong thing to do because it affected the reading over here. There has to be a straight line from these rails to this drive roll. That's got to be a straight line. So if there's any bend in that saw, it's going to show up here and give either false readings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop these bolts out. We're going to put 30 thousandths of shims and lift this whole head up and see what happens. See if that fixes my dish roll problem here. Unless anybody else has any ideas, I'd be happy to hear them.